Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 418th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Okay, our first teammate here is Brotherhood member JGP, and JGP has got 8 infantry, 6 archers, and 6 cavalry. Okay, so you've got 6 archers and 8 infantry. Now, 8 infantry is not a lot of infantry for the modern day battlefield. As you can see, he got 6 cavalry. Now, he usually brings really serious cavalry, so let's just have a look at the upgrades on his cavalry. And I see he's got fully upgraded cavalry. Whoa, 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now we know this cavalry does well with just gold shield, gold attack on, but you put 3 experience stripes on, maximum upgrades, and that makes that cavalry super elite. So you could well be looking at battle winning troops there. Okay, only 8 infantry, but 6 maximum upgraded cavalry. So it'd be interesting to see if that max cavalry makes up for just having 8 infantry. Should be interesting to see. Now, if you notice, he's got 6 archers, which is a high amount of archers, but you'll see why he bought that a little bit later on. Those units a bit later on. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks. Now, Steve has got 14 Spartans and 3 Cretan archers. Steve's doing really good with Greek cities lately. I think that's his faction of choice. And he's got the army and formation just right for himself. Okay, our next teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who's unusually bought the Carthage faction. As a lot of you know, I like to bring old armies to the modern day battlefield against good modern players, just to see how these old armies would do. This old army might be 12, 13, 14 years old, but I decided to bring it to the battlefield today just to see how well it would do. And that's 14 Sacred Band, 3 slingers, Balearic slingers, and 3 cavalry. But check out the upgrades on the cavalry. Okay, you can see I've got 8 upgrades on my cavalry. That's 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. And these Sacred Band cavalry are a bit underestimated. They are quite powerful and good cavalry, and with good upgrades on, they can make a difference in the battle. Okay, so there's my Sacred Band, my very old, I would say, Carthage army. And our last teammate is Brotherhood member Lando. Now Lando has got 8 infantry again, only 8 infantry, 6 archers, and I think it's 5 cavalry and a cavalry general. Okay, but once again, only 8 infantry, a low amount of infantry. Let's have a look at his the upgrades on his cavalry. Whoa, he's got 8 upgrades on his cavalry, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Okay, so that's 8 upgrades on his cavalry, which is pretty good. And there's his cavalry general there, and he's got 8 upgrades on his cavalry general. And there you go, there's his cavalry general just there, like kind of getting ready to charge his units forward there. Okay, so that's an interesting to see the cavalry general there. You don't often see that very often these days. Okay, so there's our team there. As you can see, 2 Romans, Carthage and Greek cities. But you wait till you see the other team. It's got the potential to be a really epic battle, and it's got a really unusual ending, which I hope you'll find interesting. Can't wait for it to start. And here is the other team. We have brother member Aurelius, who has bought the Pontus faction. Now, Aurelius has got 11 pikes. He's got 3 archers, he's got 2 chariot archers, and 3 heavy chariots there, okay? So he's got 11 pikes, and if you look at the upgrades on his pikes, you'll see he's got 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Makes those pikes very serious there. You see he's got 3 archers. Remember, those 120-man units are extremely susceptible to archer damage, so he's got those archers to cover. He's got his Eastern general, cavalry general there. And as I say, he's got 2 chariot archers and 3 heavy chariots. Okay, now remember, these heavy chariots have a mixed blessing. They bring a big fear factor, lowering the morale of enemy troops, and have got big attack specifications, but if they run amok, they kill both friend and foe alike, and they seem to be even stronger when they run amok. So it's always a bit of a gamble, a bit chancy bringing chariots, because you just don't know what they're going to do. Especially, as I say, if they run amok, they're a menace to both friend and foe alike. Okay, their second teammate is Brotherhood member Bark. Now, Bark has just got 10 infantry, 2 archers, and 6 cavalry. And he's got a couple of units that you don't see very often, which we'll have a look at in a minute. But as you can see there, it's got 6 cavalry, just got the upgrades on his cavalry. Right, okay, he's got 8 upgrades. 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. As I say, that makes those cavalry elite, super elite cavalry there. And also, here's a couple of units you don't see very often on the 31k battlefields. War dogs. Okay, how often do you see war dogs on a 31k battlefield? Very, very rare. Believe it or not, though, these guys are quite good for chasing down archers in skirmish mode. They'll chase archers all over the battlefield. They're quite fast. But as I say, you don't really see them on a 31k battlefield. Okay, their third teammate is a player who's called himself General Kenobi, but is in fact Brotherhood member Uther. And as you can see, he's bought the Rome Julio faction. Now, Uther's got 12 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, he's also got a peasant unit that he very often incorporates into his Pilar Shield units there, because of course, as we said before, as long as that peasant unit stands its ground, it'll soak up pilars as good as any other expensive unit. So as I say, he often incorporates a peasant unit in his Pilar Shield unit there, as I say, to soak up the pilars. He's got 6 cavalry, usually brings serious cavalry. Yet once again, look, 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his 6 cavalry. As we've seen there's a lot of really elite cavalry in this battle. Maybe that might make the difference towards the end of the game. Okay, their fourth teammate is Brotherhood member Mars, who's bought the Macedon faction. Now, Mars has got 14 pikes, 3 cavalry, and 3 archers that he's got hiding in the woods there. Okay, so 14 pikes, 3 archers, 3 cavalry hiding in the woods. Okay, so you can see now why our allies have bought so many archers. Okay, you can see JGP knew he was facing Macedon, so that's why he's bought his 6 archers there, because he knows those 120-man units are extremely susceptible to missile fire. So that's why JGP has bought those many archers there, try and cause as many casualties of Macedon before they actually get into combat as he can. And on the other flank, this is a battle of different flanks here, because it's going to be difficult to film everything, I think. But you can see here, Lando's got his 6 archers here to try and cause as many casualties on the Pontus pikemen. Once again, those 120-man units, as we know, very susceptible to any kind of missile damage. So that's why he's got his 6 archers on this flank. It should be a great battle for you to watch. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle here, you can see Lando being his usual aggressive self here and taking his 6 archers across there to try and hit those moving Pontus pikemen. As I say, those 120-man units are extremely susceptible to archer damage, but when they're moving, they're even more susceptible to damage. But you can see Bark bringing his 6 well-upgraded cavalry, looking to take out Lando's archers there. I hope Lando switched on and got his cavalry ready to support. Yep, you can see Lando moving his archers back and moving his infantry and cavalry forward to support his archers there. That was a nice aggressive cover move there by Bark there, like trying to cover his Pontus ally there by trying to disrupt those archers. But he could suffer some casualties there in his own cavalry units there as they retreat. You can see he's already been reduced down to 40 odd. And you can see Lando chasing it down with his fast-moving general. Right, let's just pause the game for a second. So to say here, you can see Lando being very aggressive. And now if we go on to the other flank, over to the left flank there, you can see that JGP is also being extremely aggressive with his archers there. Moving his archers across there, trying to pick off as many Macedon pikemen as he can. But Mars has got his cavalry and archers there to cover there. Remember, those Cretan archers are long-range archers, so he can use them quite effectively. But if you notice here, can you see Mars is doing a different kind of tactic? He's not trying to pull away from the archers. He's decided he's going to take the battle to the enemy. He's not going to stand around and let his units get shot to pieces. Look, he's going to charge over there. Right, just pause again for a second. So as I say, he is fighting fire with fire here. He is going to attack. He's going to counter-attack JGP's attacking troops there with his own troops. He's got cavalry units there as well that he might be able to pick off enemy archer units. But as I say here, you can see Mars not going to stand around and let himself get shot. He is going to take the battle to the enemy and go for those SBQR archers, forcing those SBQR archers back. So of course, when they're running, they can't be shooting at him. So it's a nice counter tactic there by Mars. Nice aggressive counter tactic too. And as you say, he's moving his cavalry forward. Okay, his cavalry is outnumbered by JGP's cavalry, but if he can pick off the odd archer unit, that's exactly what he'd like to do. But you must be careful there for the counter attack of the SBQR cavalry, and there he's pulling his own cavalry back. Now Mars may well get some cavalry support from his allies there, because his archers, his own archers, are a little bit exposed to attack there. But as I say, that was a nice counter move there by Mars, not standing around to get shot at. He's going to go for the enemy there. So as I say, nice attacking move there. But if you notice here, can you see that JGP's army is in danger of being split in two? His infantry on one side, his archers and cavalry on the other, and Macedon may well try to get in between and to split them up. That may be a tactic by the Macedon general there, using his cavalry maybe to attack JGP's archers, and he may well get support from his allies, because I see his Julii ally is moving across to help him as well. Right, can you see once again Mars taking his cavalry forward, disrupting the enemy archers, stopping them from concentrating their fire on his pikemen. All really good tactics here by Mars, as he's now moving back over towards his allies. Notice he's got his cavalry in open order there, so they will suffer less casualties from archer fire. Really good tactics once again. You can see JGP taking his cavalry over there to threaten the Macedon cavalry. Let's pause the game for a second. So here you can see that Steve Longshanks got his Cretan archers involved in shooting those Macedon pikemen, but you can see that Uther has brought his Julii army over to help his Macedon ally. Meanwhile, over here on our right flank, you can see that I think Lando suffered a bit of a glitch. Okay, those of you that have seen glitches on RTW will know what I mean. Very frustrating when you get a glitch, but luckily he's not near any enemy troops, so he's not going to lose any troops cheaply there, if you see what I mean. But you can see he's moving on to Pontus, looking to attack Pontus. But meanwhile, over here on our left flank, you can see that JGP is now attacking those Macedon cavalry and archers. Steve and myself are moving our spear armies over towards this left flank here to help JGP. Bearing in mind, JGP, he's only got 8 infantry against all those enemies. Let's pause the game for a second. Right, so my Carthage army here, I want to engage Macedon, okay? That's what I want to do. I want to engage Macedon, but I don't want to be piloted, okay, by those Julii troops there. So I've got to be very tactical and careful how I attack Macedon. Steve probably will tend to go for Rome with his Greek city units. Greek cities seem to do better against Rome than they do Macedon. And JGP may well take his small infantry army around the flank of the enemy troops once we get engaged. Okay, so that's basically the very, very basic game plan there of what we're thinking of doing. Okay. But as you can see here, JGP with his cavalry now, it's got to be careful because some very powerful Julii cavalry has just come across there. That's Uther's cavalry there, remember, with the 8 upgrades on. So JGP's going to have to be very careful here because he's facing 2 lots of enemy cavalry. And if they go for his archers, he's probably going to lose all his archers. And if he counters attack with his cavalry, because he's going to be outnumbered so much, he will probably lose his cavalry. And there's those cavalry going into those archers. Bang! As they smash into JGP's archers there. Okay, JGP's been forced to counter-attack with his own cavalry here to try and save his archers, but no, all his archers have now been routed. And you can see JGP now is fighting those Julii and Macedon cavalry units, but you can see that Mars is bringing his pike units over to support the cavalry units there. So JGP, best thing for him to do now is to pull his cavalry out of that melee, because otherwise he is going to rout. Can you see his cavalry? Pause again for a second. See his cavalry now distraught by enemy numbers, so their morale will drop like a stone. That's all those Macedon pikemen coming across there, plus the enemy cavalry, and they are distraught by the enemy numbers, so their morale will drop and they are extremely susceptible to routing at this time. Okay, so JGP not only lost all his archers there, he could lose a heck of a lot of his cavalry at the same time. See some enemy heavy chariots coming in as well, lowering the morale once again of his troops. So things not looking very good on our left flank here at this time. Just pause again for a second. So say with those heavy chariots coming in, they'll lower the morale of those already panicked cavalry there. As you can see here, I'm bringing my Carthage army over here to try and engage the Macedon pikemen there, try and take a bit of pressure off of JGP. And you can see Steve running his Greek cities over here, probably with a view to engage the enemy Julii units there. Meanwhile, over on our right flank, you can see Lando here is facing Bark. Okay, they got similar sized armies there, but of course you've got those chariot archers up there as well shooting at him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on this right flank. But it's a bit difficult filming both flanks at the moment, but I try and get all the action in that I can. But as I say, over here at this time, JGP's lost all his good archers there and a lot of his cavalry. Okay, can you see I'm charging my Sacred Band cavalry and was thinking of hitting those enemy cavalry, but then looked at the numbers and decided to pull my cavalry back. Okay, so I've got my Carthage Sacred Band army there now facing the Macedonians, which is what I wanted to do. And I've got JGP's 8 SBQR units with my army as well. And plus you can see Steve's moving his Greek city units over as well. Okay, so it looks like the main confrontation is going to be here on the left flank. I can see 3 enemy armies and 3 of our armies over here on this left flank at this time. Okay, can you see the enemy Julioid cavalry coming around our flank? Okay, so with my Carthage Sacred Band, right, what I want to do is heavily engage those Macedonians. Let's just pause the game for a second. Right, tactics and strategy from my Carthaginian army here is just to try and punch a bigger hole as I can through that Macedon battle formation. Okay, but you can see the Julii, you can see our SBQR ally there hoping to get behind the enemy troops. You can see that there's enemy Julioid cavalry around our flank. Okay, we'll have to be careful of them because they may look to try and get into the rear of our engaged troops there. Okay, that's what it looks like they're going to do. As I say, you've got Steve's Greek city units, which I'm pretty sure he's going to try and engage the enemy Julii units there. Okay, but you've got Pontus pouring in as well. So Pontus and those Julii armies could well engage Steve's Greek city units here on our left flank and left centre. Meanwhile, over on our right flank here, as I say, both Lando and Bark have got similar sized armies, so it'll be interesting to see what happens on that right flank there. But meanwhile, over here, this is where the bulk of the battle is being fought at this moment. You can see that Julioid cavalry have got in behind us. Nice tactical move there by Uther. Now, he may well charge that cavalry into our SBQR ally, which he's doing there, and bang, as he charges cavalry in. But that cavalry might now be trapped. Can you see that JGP's rallied SBQR cavalry units are charging in, and I'm charging my Sacred Band cavalry in, and bang, as that SBQR cavalry charges in, then my Sacred Band cavalry, bang, smashes into the enemy Julioid cavalry. We could well rout all of Uther's cavalry there. Right, let's pause the game for a second. Okay, so you can see here now that we have between us routed all of Uther's well upgraded cavalry. So that's a good move for us there. Very pleased with that, and you can see now that our SBQR ally could take his infantry in behind the enemy troops, which is what we want to do. As I say, tactics and strategy from my Carthaginians here is just to try and punch a bigger hole as I can through that Macedonian battle formation. Okay, that's what I want to do. I want to smash a hole through that Macedonian battlefield formation, routing and killing as many Macedonian troops as I can. Steve here is facing the other half of the Macedonian formation, plus he's got Julioid infantry, plus there's Pontus pikemen coming in on him as well. Okay, so there's a unit in Testudo. You can see Uther's put one unit into Testudo there. Classic Roman defense against pike or spear attacks there. But to Uther here, it's a very tactically look. He looks like he's going to engage some of the Greek cities with some of his units. Okay, nice tactical move, hold and pin, while he moves other units in behind us. Nice tactical move there. Why try and attack a barricaded front door when you can just come in behind and you might find the back door open, if you see what I mean? So there's a lot of pressure on Steve's Greek city units there. Plus, as I say, the enemy Julio troops there, Uther's troops, could get in behind us and attack the rear of our engaged troops. So that's something we're going to have to be very, very aware of during the course of the battle. Meanwhile, over on our right flank here, okay, you can see Lando being his usual ultra-aggressive self, charging his Scipioid cavalry coming in. Get ready for the impact, and bang, as he smashes in with that Scipioid cavalry straight into those Julio troops. But Bark is coming in from the flank with his own cavalry. Now remember, Bark's cavalry there has got 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack, and he's going to smash into the flank of Lando's Scipio troops here. Now this could be a pivotal moment here on the right flank of this battle. See his cavalry charging in, and bang, as it smashes into Lando's troops. It could rout them almost on impact there as they charge in. Right, can you see a lot of Lando's units now are starting to rout from the impact of that cavalry. Okay, so things not looking very good on our right flank. Now this may prove pivotal to the outcome of the battle. Okay, you can see most of Lando's infantry is now routing. The others will probably rout. You've got those chariot archers of Aurelius there shooting in as well into our Lando's allies' troops there. So as you can see here on our right flank, things not looking very good. Okay, so let's switch over to the other flank here. And as I say here, you can see we're really pressing in on the enemy troops, but you can see here Uther, great tactical move here, using his years of experience, got in behind us with his Julio troops. But you now have got Pontus in the fray. Okay, so you've got Pontus plus some of Uther's Julio troops attacking Steve's flank, plus Steve is also facing Macedonian long pikemen there as well. I'm trying, as I say, trying to punch a hole through that Macedon battle formation, but enemy Julio troops are now behind me, probably fully laden with pilots, do a lot of damage to my troops. Okay, JGP's SPQR infantry is trying to get in behind, doing a flanking action, trying to get in behind the enemy Macedonian troops there to try and take them out from behind there. Okay, so there's a general view of what's happening over here on this left flank. So as you can see, as I say, you can see the Julii Uther's army there moving in behind. As I say, he'll have a lot of pilots to throw into my into the rear of my engaged troops. If you notice, I've turned one unit to face his Julii units there. As I say, they've got a lot of pilots there. As far as I know, they haven't thrown any, so they're going to be throwing them into my Carthage Sacred Band, which is something I was trying to avoid. My Sacred Band units will suffer a lot of damage from pilots. Right, let's just pause the game for a second. Okay then, so meanwhile, over on our right flank here, as we said, all of Lando's infantry has now been routed, okay? And he's got his cavalry engaged with infantry and cavalry, enemy infantry and cavalry there, so his cavalry may well rout as well. So as I say, this could have pivotal results here on our right flank, with us losing our right flank after a fierce battle, okay? So not very good for us there. Right, if you notice here, can you see I've got my Sacred Band cavalry at the back of the fray there? Okay, I'm hoping that the enemy might have forgotten that they're there, because what I'm thinking is if Uther engages the rear of my Carthaginians here, okay, which is what he's probably looking to do, he's going to engage them with those troops. When he does that, I'm hoping that if he hasn't noticed my cavalry, I will then smash those 3 well-upgraded cavalry into the rear of his engaged troops, which I'm hoping will rout a lot of his units, okay? So that's why I'm keeping my cavalry all the way back there at this time. A little bit of a tactical move there. Right, can you see? JGP is moving his SPQR cavalry and infantry, as he said, around the flank here to try and get in behind the rear of those Macedonian troops. Okay? Nice little tactical move there by JGP, but he's got some enemy chariots, heavy chariots coming in on his infantry, bringing that fear factor and those big attacking specifications. And the plus, of course, if they run amok here, they seem to be more powerful when they run amok, so they could kill a lot of his troops. So let's hope that they don't run amok here from our point of view. Right, as we said here, you can see Uther running his Julio troops into the rear of my engaged Carthage Sacred Band troops there. I just want to let all those units get engaged, and then I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, charge my Carthage Sacred Band cavalry into the rear of them, and hope that Uther doesn't notice them coming in. Right, just pause the game. So say there's a lot of heavy chariots here attacking our SPQR ally. But as I say, our SPQR allies got in behind those Macedonian troops. Okay, you can see my Sacred Band units now are moving off to the right to attack those other Macedon troops that are engaging Steve. But I got Uther's Julio troops attacking the flank and rear of my units there. As I say, JGP is attacking some Macedon units there and probably coming to attack Julio. Poor old Steve here, he's up against enemy Julio troops, plus he's up against fresh Pontus pikemen that are moving in on him as well. Okay, so things not looking very good. And over here you can see that Lando's blue Scipio troops, our ally there, is fighting the enemy Julio troops, plus you've got Bark's infantry moving over here as well. So as I say, that loss on our right flank could prove pivotal, because if Bark gets those infantry in behind us, then that will be probably the end of the battle. Okay, so we're bearing in mind here, remember that Uther's Julio troops were attacking the flank and rear of my Carthage Sacred Band, and waiting for all his troops to engage. And then I'm going to charge my cavalry into the rear of them. That's the tactics. Right, see my Sacred Band cavalry going in there. I'm moving in, and we're going to go in and bang as they smash into the rear of those engaged Julio troops. Uther did spot them coming in and turned a unit to neutralise their attack, but the main attack went in there. And I've only routed one of their units. They're a little bit disappointed. I was hoping to rout more of them than that. I'm going to press home with my cavalry, trying to rout as many of those Julio. Right, I've managed to rout 2 of them, so I'm pleased with that. That was a nice cavalry hit. So now I'm going to pull back, lock and load, and get ready to pull the trigger to charge in again when I feel the time is right. Okay, but that was good. I'm glad I routed those. That was a nice little tactical cavalry hit there, I thought. Right, now, those of you that watch our battle videos, you know who I'm after now. I'm now after the Julii General. Okay, remember, take him out, lower the morale of enemy troops. Okay, right, all of Lando's troops now have been defeated, and Lando has just admitted defeat. Okay, so our ally now, Lando, is completely out of the battle, and Bark's victorious Julio troops moving across. But as I said, here I'm after Uther's General. A lot of you will know that's what I'm trying to aim for here with my Karfish Sacred Band. I want to take that Julio General out, so lowering the morale of his allies and his own troops there. Okay, so I'm pressing home with my Karfish Sacred Band, trying to take the General out. Steve's doing well against Pontus and Julio here. He's pretty well surrounded by enemy troops, and we've got the victorious enemy Julio troops of Barks moving over here as well. Okay, so things not looking very good, as I say, for our troops. I've got my Sacred Band cavalry. I'm going to charge in, I think, to the Julio General there. As I say, I want to take out that Julio General, lowering the morale of enemy troops. Okay, so that's what I'm looking to do. I've got my Sacred Band attacking that Julio General here. It's going to be like a sandwich attack. See my Karfish Sacred Band going in there, and bang, as I smash into that Julio General, hoping to take him out. Okay, we've routed the Julio General. Good news for us. Okay, that's really good news for us. Let's pause the game for a second. In fact, I think we've killed, routed 2 of the generals. Yep, we've routed the enemy Macedon General and the enemy Julio General there. So that's good news for us. We've taken out their generals. Lowering the morale of their troops. No more general morale bonus from them. I'm pushing in on those Pontus troops. But as I say, you can see the enemy, victorious enemy Julio troops coming over from our right flank there. Probably looking to get in behind us. As I say, I'm pushing my Karfish Sacred Band troops on towards the Macedon troops. I can see several of my units have already routed, okay? Several of my Sacred Band units have already been routed from battle depletion and tiredness. Right, can you see, this is what we didn't want. One of Aurelius' chariots has run amok, and unfortunately he's run amok on our side. So those chariots, so that run amok chariot now will be killing loads of our SBQ, our allies' troops. Okay, as I say, they do appear to be stronger when they run amok, and unfortunately, instead of it running amok on their team, it's run amok near our team, and we'll be taking out a lot of our SBQ, our allies' troops there. So remember, bringing chariots is a double-edged sword, if you like, but in this case, it's worked well for the enemy because, oh good, that's a Macedon General just been killed, because those chariots are running amok on our team. As I say, it'd be killing loads of our SBQ, our allies' troops there. Okay, let's just pause again for a second here. So as you can see here, I just want to show you the difference in the long pikes. See how long those pikes are of the Pontus pikemen there, as well as the Macedon pikemen, the same length, against our short little spears. Remember, Greek cities' spears and our spears and my Karfish Sacred Band spears, short, very short in comparison to those Macedonian long pikes. Okay, but you can see Steve and myself both pushing in on those Pontus units in between us. Sandwich attack there, trying to take those Pontus units out between us. If we can do that, then I think that's going to be good. There you go. We've both pushed in there, both taken out those Pontus units that were in behind us. Okay, you can see JGP's very battle damaged units are in behind as well, but he's also got his general still alive, I think. So that's good morale for us. I think my general and Steve's general are still alive as well, so we've got our generals, lots of morale going in our armies there. You can see the enemy moving in now. Would it be a good idea for Steve and myself maybe to box up now? Should we form a defensive box? Is that something that you might think about doing, or should we carry on attacking? Right, you can see my Karfish Sacred Band group there fighting the enemy Julio troops, and you can see Steve is engaging the Pontus pikemen. But if you notice here, can you see Uther's Julio troops there? He's pulled them back to reorganise them now, and it looks like he's going to tactically move his troops around the battlefield there. Let's say we're starting to rout some of those Pontus pikemen. Carthage not very good against Rome in an attacking kind of form, so it's best when you face Rome with Carthage maybe to stand a little bit defensive there. Right, see, I'm charging in with my cavalry into the rear of those Julio troops, really pushing in with my 8 upgraded cavalry there, trying to cause as many casualties, trying to rout them as I can. Okay, just pause the game for a second. My general has just been routed. Now, the enemy have been very tactically targeting my general with their archers. Nice tactical move there by them. All the way through this, they've been targeting my general, and finally, he's lost so many men that the general unit has routed. Okay, so I've lost a general morale bonus there. Nice tactical archer moves there by the enemy team, targeting my general. Nice move. Like I say, you can see the enemy archers are targeting us from several different angles, shooting fire arrows into us, lowering the morale of our troops as well as causing casualties. Plus, don't forget, we've got those chariot archers shooting into us as well. See all those fire arrows coming into my Karfish Sacred Band units there. JGP's battle damaged small army there is fighting the enemy Julio troops in behind us. You've got Cretan archers moving in there as well, probably alt attack. They are charging my Sacred Band cavalry into the back of that Julio unit, routed that Julio unit, glad about that. Can you see the Pontus general charging his cavalry unit in there, and bang, as that general unit charges into my Sacred Band units there. That was a really aggressive attack there, but charging cavalry into spear units, it's not really a good idea there, but obviously he wanted to do that there for a reason. And he has managed to rout one of my spear units there, and his general is still alive. So that was a nice hit there by the Pontus general there. But as you can see, the volume of fire arrows coming into our already battle depleted units, lowering the morale of my troops. Can you see several more of my Carthage Sacred Band units are routing? Poor old JGP's general was surrounded and has just been killed, and the unit wiped out there by the enemy Julio troops. Steve moving his Greek cities units forward there to help. My guess is that the enemy Julio troops has just took out JGP's general, will now retreat. They won't want to fight pikes head on. But meanwhile, we're being hit by archers from all separate directions, including those chariot archers have been shooting into us mercilessly all battle, causing casualties all the time. Okay, so what would you advise now? Do you think Steve and me now should box up, form a defensive formation between us, or do you think we should still try fighting separately here against the enemy troops? What do you think best tactically here? Bearing in mind they still got a lot of missile troops shooting into us. My units are very tired. That's one step off of being exhausted, so their morale will be extremely low. They're already battle depleted, and with their morale extremely low, they could be susceptible to routing. Don't forget Steve's Spartans there are just winded, but he's also battle depleted as well. Okay, his units are also battle depleted. Right, can you see here that I'm still trying to attack enemy Julio troops here with my spears, but my guess is the enemy will play this very tactically. They won't want to take Steve's spears on head on. Okay, they won't want to. That's what Steve wants. He wants to take on those enemy Julio troops with his Greek cities head on. But my guess is that I think it's Uther there with his Julio troops. He won't want to do that. He won't want to play Steve's game there. Let's say you won't want to take on. Why do you want to take on those spears head on when you've still got lots of missile troops shooting into the rear and flank of Steve's Greek city units? They're causing casualties, causing panic with fire arrows. So as I say, let's pause the game for a second. So as I say here, that's what Steve wants. Steve wants to take on Uther's Julio troops head on, but Uther won't do that. Every time Steve tries to advance, I reckon that Uther would just pull his Julio troops back. All the time his allies shooting arrows into Steve's units, causing damage, causing casualties, and causing panic with fire arrows. You can see those chariot archers, as I say, have been shooting into us mercilessly. We're getting fire arrows shooting into us from different angles. So as I say, Steve's running forward, wants to engage those Julio troops, but Uther, using his years of experience, not having anything to do with that, pulling his units back. So Steve's running his units forward there, Uther pulling his back, and all the time you can see the enemy arrows going into our troops as we're moving. Remember, the flank and rear of troops are really susceptible to archer fire, but also if you're moving as well, you're going to suffer a lot of casualties from archers as well. So to say, there's a lot of enemy troops shooting in. Right, let's pause the game. Right, so do you think we should box up now? Steve and me, is that what you think? We should form a defensive box formation there, and just let the enemy use their arrows on us, and then they'll have to attack. Is that what you would do there? Is that the best thing for us to do? If you look at the enemy troops, they haven't got a lot of heavy infantry left, so if we boxed up, even if we took a lot of their archer fire there, they haven't got a lot of infantry left to attack us. So do you think that would be the best tactical thing for us to do if you were Steve and myself? That may well be the case, sir. But I know Steve's very aggressive with his Greek city units. Just look at the units I got. 16, 15, 8 in that one, 17, 1 man left in that Sacred Band unit, 18, 11. So my units are extremely battle damaged, extremely battle depleted, so the morale is going to be extremely low. See, very tired. That's one step off and exhausted, so morale is going to be very low. Look at Steve's units, also very battle depleted, 8 men, 25 in that one. But his unit's back, so and with all those fire arrows coming in on us, on our already battle depleted and morale low units there, things not, you know, on the face of it, it looks like we should be able to win this, but as I say, our units are so damaged and our morale is so low. You know, maybe, as I say, maybe it might be a good idea for us to form up a box here. I don't know. Let's say, viewers watching this, is that what you two would do? You know, if you were me and Steve here, just form up a defensive formation and just let the enemy come in on us? Is that something we should do? But as I say, I know Steve's very aggressive. He wants to engage those Julio troops. I guess Uther's going to pull those troops back again. There you go, look. Steve says, come on, fight me. And Uther says, no, I'm going to back off. I'm going to attack you when I'm ready. I'm going to let his archers, his allies' archers there, do the damage to us as we're moving around. So that's what Steve wants. He wants a head-on engagement with the enemy troops there, but the enemy, of course, wisely are going to avoid that. As I say, my Carthage Sacred Band, I've kind of formed a little bit of a defensive formation myself, facing spears in all different directions there. But as you can see, if you look at Steve's unit, can you see how small amount of men he's got in those units? So remember, when you're very battle depleted, and you've got fire arrows coming on you, it really lowers the morale of your troops. New players to Rome Total War, in this game, morale is very, very important, okay? If your morale is very low, then that, of course, makes your troops extremely susceptible to routing. And as you can see here, both Steve and myself, our units are extremely battle damaged, only a small amount of men in each unit, so our morale would be very low, and my troops are only one step off of exhausted. So there's a lot of morale loss in my units there. If you notice here, can you see how Uther's moving his Julio troops forward again? May well try to encourage Steve to attack him, and of course Steve's troops are attacking and moving there. They're more susceptible to archer damage. So it's another nice move there by Uther. Okay, I'm just going to fast forward the game a little bit here. As you can see here now, at this stage, Steve and myself have decided to kind of box up. Okay, we've boxed up. We're moving into a defensive position here against the enemy troops. Right, you can see here Uther moving his Julio. Bad thing for us. Steve's general has just been taken out. Okay, we already know my general's routed and is gone. Now Steve's general's been killed, so we have got no morale bonus at all. Okay, yes, we're in a defensive position, but we've got no morale bonus. As I say, battle depleted troops, very low morale. So I don't think things are looking very good for us here. If you were a betting person, which way do you think this battle is going to go? Okay, Steve and myself have boxed up. You can see a couple of Steve's very damaged battle units are now routing. And as I say, the enemy are shooting fire arrows onto us, lowering our morale all the time. But as I say, Steve and me may be in a strong position here. We've boxed up. Steve's Spartans with their 2 hit points and excellent morale, and my Carthage Sacred Band with good upgrades on there. Let's say you can see, be interested to see if they're going to alt-attack their archers in on us as well when they do their final attack. But as I say, really the only heavy infantry they've got here is Uther's units. Okay, so Steve's facing them there with his Spartan units there. But as I say, we're being bombarded with fire arrows all the time as well. So as you can see there, we formed up a defensive box and we're saying, come on then enemy troops, if you want to attack, we're ready for you. But as I say, we've got no general morale bonus at all, and that could play into the hands of the enemy. If you notice here, can you see now that we're being surrounded by enemy troops? Now our troops will, as I say, already very, very low morale, but they'll be aware that they're surrounded by enemy troops, plus they know that their fire arrows are coming in on them, lowering their morale as well. So there's a big lack of morale now within our army, even though we are in a very good defensive position. Okay then, so if viewers watching this, which way do you reckon this battle's going to go? We're just waiting for the enemy to attack, and we should be able to hopefully repel the archers. And I see there's a whole peasant unit there of 120 men. It's only Uther's infantry that we need to worry about, I think, really, because he's got battle depleted units as well, but they could make the difference. Okay, can you see Uther moving his units ready, tactically looking for chinks in our defensive armour there, where he's going to attack. Okay, our troops now are very aware that we're surrounded by enemy very close to us. Let's just pause the game. Okay, so like we talked about here, can you see the enemy have completely surrounded us now? Now our troops will know that. And as we've talked about, the morale of our troops are extremely low. We've got no general morale bonus. We're battle depleted. Now you see what happens now. Okay, it spreads like an infection through the army. You've just seen a chain rout. Okay, we've just completely chain routed there. You don't see that very often there, but both Steve and my army have just chain routed. Okay, very, very unusual to see that. But as I say, we had no morale bonus there. We were battle depleted. We were all very tired. We were surrounded by enemy troops. Our morale was rock bottom, and we've just chain routed there. So I thought it was a very unusual ending there to a battle. You may well have thought we could have held on there and won. Okay, so as you can see, it's a close defeat there, as we thought it would be. I'd just like to say that old Carthage army of mine, which might have been 12, 13 years old, managed to scrape in the most kills. So I'm pleased with the way that old army performed on the battlefield there. So, yeah, it's very good. Steve got some good kills too. Well done to Steve. As you see, Aurelius got some good kills, and Mars got some good kills too. I don't think JGP or Lando got the kills that they wanted there. They probably they're a bit disappointed by those kills. But as I say, Lando was very aggressive there over on that right flank. As you say, it was a close battle there, but I thought there was some good diversity here. Greek cities, Carthage and Rome, Pontus, Rome and Macedon in the other team as well. So I thought that was quite a good diverse battle. But I really wanted to show this battle because of that chain rout at the end. I thought that was interesting to see that. Okay, let's have a look at the battle statistics. Can you see my Balearic slingers did quite well? My cavalry are very pleased with the way my cavalry performed there. I thought those Sacred Band cavalry did very good. If you look at the Balearic slinger, can you see that one Balearic slinger unit got as many kills as a Sacred Band unit? 107. Both of them got 107 kills. You wouldn't think that a slinger unit and a heavy spear unit there. But if you look at the battle kills there, I'm quite pleased with the way, as I say, that old Carthage army performed there. So, let's say I hope you enjoyed this battle. Just like to say, really well done to Brothers member Aurelius, Brothers member Bark, Uther and Mars. Really well played, guys. Really nice combination attacks there. Some really good tactics, but also really well played to Brother member JGP, Brother member Steve Longshanks, and Brotherhood member Lando. Really well played, guys. And I hope you enjoyed this battle. As I say, I thought that was an unusual ending that probably surprised you there, because for all intents and purposes, it looks like me and Steve could have actually gone on to win that battle by just holding. Okay, so Spartan Commander saying look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.